All right. Well, for everybody who is joining us live through Zoom or live on Facebook, thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm very excited to have with me Tim Hughes. He is the co-founder of Product Labs. Tim was actually a business leader with Amazon Marketplace for several years and helped lead product management teams responsible for third-party fulfillment and returns experience, as well as monetization of ads for mobile apps. Tim, we talked a little bit about this ahead of time, but there's an article on Forbes by Mike Templeman, and he has a couple benefits of video. So obviously what we're going to be talking about today is AMZ product video and adding product videos to your detail page on Amazon in order to increase in sales. And so here's some statistics that he put in his article. So the first one is, and this is not specific to Amazon, but it says including a video on a landing page can increase conversion rates by 80%.
Yeah,
that is huge.
Insane. So there was actually another thing that came out. It was a professor out of a different university, and everybody's familiar with the term "a picture's worth 1,000 words." Well, this geeky professor, more geeky than I am, he found out that he quantified a video, and he said if a picture's worth 1,000 words, a video's worth over 1,000,000 words.
Wow.
And so that's essentially what it is. We remind people all the time that media is what people use primarily to assess or make the purchase decision online. When you're in a physical store, you can pick up the product, you can look at it, you can turn it around, you can play with it, and that helps you determine whether or not you want to purchase it, along with other things like price and other needs. But online, you don't have that, right? Online, what do you have? You have pictures primarily. But as people look at and they see video, they're able to visualize the product a lot more, and it really helps with the purchase decision. So that's where you see that up to 80% bump is just insane. We know that, Amazon knows it, and that's the exact reason why they're pushing video.
Yeah, the second statistic is after watching a video, 64% of users are more likely to buy a product online. And I think that probably goes to exactly the point that you just said. It gives them the ability to visualize it in a way that they wouldn't have seen just from a picture.
Absolutely.
So the last one is the top 3 most effective types of video content. And this is, I found really fascinating, but this should be a point that anybody who's thinking of doing a video on their Amazon details page should consider. And these are all about equal, but the 3 most effective types of video are customer testimonials, tutorial videos, and demonstration videos. And we'll go in to show a couple examples of that a little later, but similar to any product review, if you could probably put the same thing. If a product review is worth, in words of one product review, a video customer testimonial is probably worth, 100 reviews. There's a lot of similarity to that.
Yeah, and I think one thing to point out about this is that people like to see sort of genuine content, right? So it's really easy to call out, like, let's say I make a video for my own product and I'm like, hey, this is awesome, this is great. People are going to see right through me, and they see that. And so it's going to be less effective. So, just a general point of thought, if you're trying to do, a customer review, or a product review video, what's really popular is to find somebody who's a quote-unquote YouTube influencer, or find a real customer to give a real testimony, and people love it. I mean, they resonate with those people, and they say, hey, yeah, that's me, and I have those concerns, and that's why I want to buy this product. It's extremely helpful.
Yeah, that third-party word of mouth is still the most significant influencer, I think, for so many aspects and products. I mean,
right.
Across the board.
It's amazing. We'll trust perfect strangers for purchase decisions, people we don't even know. I'll be in a store and I'll walk up to somebody and say, hey, what do you think about this shirt? Like when I try on a shirt, and I'll trust their feedback over my own family's feedback.
Yeah. Or it's like, going into a restaurant and asking the waiter, like, hey, what's good here? They may not like any of the same things you like, but you're getting a general perspective from another person.
Absolutely.
Who's used it. So let's talk about the general dilemma that we typically saw. And that was that previously adding video to your detail page was limited to vendor central sellers with A+ content. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so back in the day when we were at Amazon, it was a whole different ballpark, right? So like they really didn't, I don't even think they didn't even have video. So there wasn't a whole lot of video on detail pages. And exactly like you said, if you wanted to get some, you had to be a vendor. You had to go through A+. And it wasn't free. It was actually really expensive. They had to pay per page to get that A+ there. Now, slowly, as bandwidth becomes more of a commodity and, as Amazon shifted to, I think, all their AWS stack for all their pages, bandwidth, it was cheap. So they said, hey, let's get more stuff on the detail page. We'll be able to serve it up just as fast. And so they started adding rich content, and it slowly went from vendors to having more ability for the sellers, which is great for us. So no longer do you have to sell into Amazon to be able to do this.
Yeah, so let's talk about AMZ Product Video, which is a partner of Product Labs, how that developed, how that got started, and what the primary focus is. What is the main benefit that it offers to brand owners and private labels and businesses selling on Amazon through Seller Central?
Absolutely. So, I mean, it started like any other great business, which is, they saw a need, and then it was to meet that need through internal connections, right? So, as our partner, they have contacts and are in direct contract with Amazon. And the idea was to say, hey, you know what? Amazon is an interest to sell more stuff to people. That's what they do. Amazon sells stuff. Right. And there's groups within Amazon who say, hey, guess what? I know that video helps conversion rate. And so they said, let's make video more available to sellers. And so that's why, AMZ Product Video was able to partner with Amazon and then offer this as a service. Now, what's great is that, it again opens that up to the little guy, and you don't have to be a vendor. You don't have to be that big guy. And so you kind of skirt over that competitive advantage that the vendors used to have. And again, it all comes down to helping people sell more stuff. That's the best interest. That's what we want to focus on. And that is what the service is meant to do. When you put a video up on the page, what you're doing is what we just talked about. You're giving buyers more confidence that people like this product. You're giving buyers more information about the product. You're giving buyers different angles to view the product in a real 3D environment, and that helps with the purchase decision.
Yeah, let's talk about the one caveat is through Vendor Central, sellers are still able to put their video up at the top underneath the last photo is typically where it's shown. AMZ Product Video, they show up down under related shorts, which is above the product reviews. Talk about that placement and how that placement can still be a real benefit to sellers, and how they can even potentially drive customers to even view it down where it is on the detail page.
Yeah, so we're with you. We're pushing for the placement to be up towards the top as well. So I'm in contact with Amazon all the time, and so is our partner. Yeah, we understand that, and we would love in the future for the placement to be up at the top. And I think it's just a matter of time before we see that.
I agree.
Now, what's cool about the related video short section is two things. One is it's directly above where the product reviews are. And everybody loves product reviews. So as they go to the product reviews, they're going to see the related video short section. It's very prevalent right there. That's the cool thing. And then the second cool thing is that there is no limitation on the videos, right? So up in the image carousel, you can only have one video, and that's how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. But in related video shorts, you can actually upload a product review, you can upload a how-to, it could be an advertisement, all different types of videos, and all of that will help your conversion rate in the long run.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Let's get into and talk about a couple different ways that sellers can use their video. The first one is to tell the brand stories, allow viewers to experience the passion for the market that they serve or for the product that they've created. Talk about how a brand story could be really helpful.
Yeah, so I think when people get online and they start selling, they really underestimate marketing. And marketing was one of the things that I focused on in my graduate program. I think it's super essential. I've always said you can have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, they're not going to buy it, right? And so that's really where it comes into play in marketing. We see that a lot of sellers, they spend a lot of time on their products, and they don't really push marketing, or they underestimate how much money it's going to cost on marketing. So from different types of marketing perspective, you have things like what's called product or product line marketing, and then you also have brand recognition. right? And so what you're doing from a brand perspective is you might put a video up there and you might not show people about your individual product. You might introduce them to the brand. Well, there's they call it the factor of 3. So for people to understand and remember a brand, they have to see it 3 times. Right. It's a stickiness factor, right? So with introducing a brand, what you're doing is you're showing your customers that not only do I have this great product, I also have this great brand that there's a lot of other products under. So it's really important for you to do that. So when they come into Amazon, what you want to do is you want to convert that customer from searching from a generic term to searching for your brand. So the difference is I might go in and I might say, hey, I'm looking for a bookshelf. Or later on, I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to search for Tim's bookshelves because they're awesome. I know that he made, wall hangings and he also makes bookshelves. Right. So that's the importance of introducing your brand.
Yeah, we've also seen, obviously, creating videos for each of your products, especially your flagship one. And that can be illustrating how to use it, the benefits, the features, specifications. What we've found is the more you educate your audience on its use, the better success they're going to have. And it also allows you to differentiate your product from your competitors.
Absolutely. So again, understanding how people make a purchase decision online is so important. So if you think about it, people call them the bullet points. So if you go on the detail page, you see the bullet points below the price block. Those are actually called the key selling benefits. They're not called bullet points. They're KSBs, right? And what are key selling benefits? They're benefits to convey to the customer as to why you would purchase that product. So if you understand, what you're doing is you're replicating the benefits in several different ways, right? You're replicating them in text, right? So people can visually and they can read and say, hey, the benefit of this is that it's money back guarantee, right? So I don't have to worry about purchasing it, or it's durable, it's high quality steel as opposed to some cheap foreign stuff. And then on top of that, you want to convey those benefits in a similar, if you're trying to do that with a video, you want to do it within the video. So, and it's funny, you don't actually have to say, this is, what is it, like 306 steel or whatever, 309 steel. You could take your product and you could smash it on a table and then you can show it, hey, it doesn't break. And that is going to convey that this is high quality steel and you're protected, right? So again, it's a reinforcement thing, but it's a different means. Some people read, some people look at stuff visually through pictures, some people look at stuff visually through videos.
Yeah, we just found, from all the clients that I work with who have added video, we found a couple things. One is when people understand the product better, when they understand the features and the benefits, they're more likely to purchase, so that's going to increase the conversion rate. We've seen customers who maybe they didn't fully understand how to use it before, but now that they've watched the video, they're going to understand how to use it better. They're going to get more out of the product. They're going to give it better product reviews as a result, and they're going to refer their friends or family to purchase it. And it also has a huge impact on negative reviews and returns. So again, if somebody gets a product that's maybe it's a little innovative, it's a little different, they might not understand it, but if they've seen the video and they know how to use it, we've seen a significant decrease in negative product reviews and returns having implemented those product videos.
Absolutely. So I remind people to not get too lost in your knowledge of your products. So if I have something, everything makes sense to me. I might have actually sourced that, worked with the manufacturer, got it, designed the packaging. I know everything about it. And so what we do as humans is we actually think in our brain, because I know that, all of my customers should know that, or hey, it's pretty clear. So what you should do is you should actually find a guinea pig. I did this long ago in our career. I'm not going to say the woman's name, but she was a super nice woman, and every time we put a process together, what we would do is, it was Diane, but I'm not going to go into more. So Diane, she was great. We say, Diane, can you come over here and try to follow these instructions? And to us, they make perfect sense. But when Diane sat in front of them, she would say, hey, I don't understand this, or I don't understand that, right? And so that's what you're essentially doing when you give the customer more information, is you're taking away those questions. Obviously, you expect the negative stuff to go away, or if people don't understand how to use it. That's really what you're doing. Again, you got to put yourself in the mind of the customer and say, I'm a customer, I have a need, or I have a problem that I'm trying to solve. And what you're doing is you're trying to convey to the customer, this product will solve that need or solve that problem for you. And thus, like you said, reduce returns, reduce negative comments. increase conversion, which is the end game for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, it ultimately would just increase sales. I think, again, to the point, I've worked with clients where prior to video, people just didn't understand how it worked, or they didn't understand the price point because they didn't understand how this product was different than another product.
Yes.
And so anytime you have an innovative product that's pushing the boundaries or pushing the limits, that you can't show in photos, or it gets lost somewhere in the product description. But as you mentioned, you can show it in a video, and all of a sudden it clicks and makes sense.
Yeah.
We've seen that just be, just a huge benefit. I want to talk about one way that I've worked with clients to really utilize this, and this is in conjunction with Feedback Genius, which is a feedback request tool that's run by Seller Labs. Great tool. I highly recommend it for anybody selling on Amazon, both for seller feedback as well as product reviews. But one of the things that we found, especially with these innovative products, is if people are getting the product, opening up, and not understanding how to use it, the way that we figured out how to solve that was to add an AMZ product video, and then we take a screenshot of the video, add a play button graphic in the center, and we would send it out in a Feedback Genius email when the product was out for delivery. So literally, the product is on the truck, it's about to be delivered to the customer's door, and the customer gets an email saying, this is how you use the product. And so literally they can get home, open the box, play the video, and that had a huge impact on the overall customer experience.
Yeah, that's a really smart marketing tactic. I wish Amazon would let us do more as far as, contact and communication with the customers. I know people abuse that, and so, they're trying to protect the customers, but you're doing something that's absolutely great. What you're doing is, in the marketing world, you're trying to prevent an issue before it ever becomes an issue. So You're being proactive. You're trying to educate the customer and say, hey, guess what? We know you bought this thing. Here's a guide on how to use it, or here's a quick video on how to get the most out of your thing. And people love that. I mean, we're all smart in our own ways, but all of us are also dumb in our own ways. So when we go and we get stuff, just yesterday, I'm a tech guy, and, I couldn't figure out how to print here. And so, that happens to all of us, right? So you have to go and ask. And so, yeah, it's a great way to get your customers educated. And if they have a great experience, you're going to see some dedication to your brand. You're going to see repeat purchases, and you're going to see a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, and the biggest benefit is prior to that, people would try to skate around the idea, the issue, Amazon's terms of service, of not redirecting customers outside of Amazon. So people would try to send links to YouTube videos, to Vimeo.
Right.
And you can do all those things, but it's really dangerous. You're really walking a fine line. With this, the video actually goes onto Amazon, and I'll show an example here in a couple minutes, but the video goes onto Amazon. It actually gets its own detail page and has its own ASIN assigned. It fills up 80% of the screen, and it auto-plays the second that the customer lands on it.
Yeah.
So it's really a perfect seamless system that keeps you within Amazon's terms of service as best we understand at this point.
Yeah, you really have to watch out for Amazon stuff. And you highlighted another great point about using related video shorts as opposed to, the vendor, the image block video. With related video shorts, you actually don't have to relate a video to an ASIN. So related video shorts, or video shorts in general, it's called video shorts, the section, has a whole section within Amazon. There's things like cooking lessons, or, how to fix a car tire or whatever. You don't necessarily have to relate that to an ASIN, although a lot of people do. And then you can do some follow-up marketing just like you described, where you say, hey, this is an item, and what I want to do is I want to direct them to this video short, and it might not be on the detail page. So it's just another way to use that, which is really cool, and another reason why it goes above and beyond just the regular videos on the detail page.
Yeah, and in terms of getting people to see it, I've seen a couple things. As far as everything I can tell, it's completely within line with the Amazon policy. But again, all you're trying to do is help the customer get a better customer experience, and you're keeping them within Amazon. But in one case, we used a product feature. We modified a product feature and said, scroll down to watch our quick start video under related video shorts.
Yep.
And another bestseller that we saw had a graphic with a little down arrow, and it said, hey, check out our video under related video shorts, and it had a screenshot so people could know to look down there. That's a great way to do it as well. And again, we haven't seen any issues with that in terms of the terms of service. It's keeping the customer within the Amazon ecosphere, it's attempting to provide value and still gives the customers the option of whether or not they choose to watch the video or not.
Yeah. Remember that the related video shorts or video shorts in general is almost like the YouTube of Amazon. And so, yes, I mean, you're absolutely right. Keep it on Amazon, follow the rules. We never advise anybody to do anything that would break, terms and services. And I think that's the best way to do it.
Let's talk about AMZ product video creation services. So for people who don't have a video, they go, wow, that sounds amazing. I'd love to have a video, but I don't even know where to start. I heard it's really expensive. You guys actually offer a video creation service. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So we offer full-scale production, video production through AMZ Product Video. I mean, so I always tell people you can spend as much money as you want. If you want to get a famous actor in your video, you can do it. It's just going to cost you a lot of money. So yeah, so anything as far as, just doing something simple as a very basic video, just showcasing your product, all the way up to full-scale production, which would be like, some people do like 2-minute advertisements that are quality enough to share like on television. So really it all depends on how much you want to spend. We're working on some really cool stuff to lower that price point for people so they have some really cool videos that are affordable by anyone. And I've worked with Amazon about this topic for the last about 6 months. And they've seen the same thing that we've seen, is that usually video production is cost prohibitive for most people. And so that's the unfortunate thing, is what we see is we see a lot of people, maybe they already had a video created through some other service or for some other means, and they say, hey, I have this video, I want to get it on Amazon. And of course we help people do that. Now what happens with the other people or the rest of us is that they say, hey, I want to get a video created, and then they go investigate and they say, oh wow, it's that much money. And so it kind of turns them off and they don't go on it. One thing that we're working on right now is a cost-effective solution for people. So, the ability for anyone to say, hey, that's a good value for me to make a video for any product and not just my hero ones. So you'll see more about that information soon.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen, obviously, the best scenario is to show your actual product in use and the full video. We haven't done this on Amazon, but we have done it for like Facebook advertising and that sort of thing, which is they have 30-second explainer videos that are a couple $100 that you can have somebody do an animation. And again, it's not going to show your product per se. They'll do an animation of your product. But again, explaining the features and the benefits, video is so powerful.
Yes.
Whatever you do, find a way to get video and make sure that you get it on your Amazon detailed page.
100% agree. Yeah, it's so much easier. People nowadays, it's like we're busier than ever. And so a lot of people just don't want to take the time to go and do research on products. So it's so easy just to fire up a 30-second video and boom, oh, I got everything I need about that. And then let me make a purchase.
Yeah, and like I said, we've had such a good experience with this. Let's talk about the practical logistics. So somebody has a video or they want to use AMZ product video. What are the first things that they need? And I think really the first one starts with high quality. You have to have a high quality video, and there's a handful of formats that are accepted. We're going to talk a little bit about the specifics, and I've got some of those as well.
Yeah, so we have everything listed on the website, all of the specific formats. Now, these are coming straight from Amazon. We don't dictate anything. Amazon actually will take the highest quality that you can give them. We've had, I think one of our biggest ones, it was like a 30-second video, and it was like multiple gigs. I mean, it was gigs. It was huge. Wow. You got to understand, like what Amazon does is once that video gets ingested into their system, they do a bunch of processing on it to make sure it's optimized for any type of medium that views that video. So they're going to take care of all of that. What I would recommend is the highest quality that you can get, and within reason. If you go to anything that's like 1080p or even 720p as far as quality is concerned, it's going to be good. Remember, your customers are coming both on desktop and more mobile now, so the videos have to be downscaled, but they still have to be high quality to start with. Yeah, format-wise, I mean, just check out the website for the formats. They're all pretty publicly acceptable formats. It's just nothing off edge. So they're your standard formats that you're going to play with. And then we also have some guidelines on what Amazon will accept as far as policies. And that's one of the things that we do that sets us aside from other people is we're actually looking at your video and we're making sure that it conforms to all of Amazon's policies. So you don't get in trouble, so we don't get in trouble, so you don't harm your buyers, your customers in the long run. So we'll go through, we'll work with you, and we'll say, hey, this is a great video, but did you realize this portion actually violates the terms and services, so we got to take it out or we got to edit something. And ultimately get it ready for Amazon. Make sure that we're have all the boxes checked.
Yeah, we did that for one of the clients that I worked with. They had a great product. It was very unique, very, very high quality, and the price point was just too high. So they created a brand video with the owner that did an interview, and we had to edit it to cut the website out at the end because Amazon, again, does not want you to try to redirect or revamp any traffic off of Amazon. So even if you have a great video, make sure that you get two versions, one with the website and one without. And I'd say that's probably true of anything, because if you use affiliate marketing or anything else, you want to provide a clean version that you can provide to affiliates to direct anywhere that you're going to have that traffic sent.
Yeah, that's a big one. There's two big things that we normally see with people. You just hinted on the first one, which is external links. Now, Amazon, we've been playing with them a little bit, and they've been laxing a little bit about the links off site, but it's best to just remove them in general. If you read their terms and services, it is against terms and services to solicit a purchase off of Amazon. So that's, your safe way. They are they're testing, allowing additional information that might be on a website as long as they're not purchasing. But right now, just to be safe, that's one thing that you want to stay away from. The other one, which is the biggest thing, we always think this is funny. There's a term in the industry called conquesting. That's what it's called in the marketing world, in the advertising world. The first question that most people ask us is, hey, can I put this on my competitor's website? Right? That's the first thing that they say. Hey, can I put my brand on the competitor's website? And unfortunately, you cannot do that. So that, again, that term is called conquesting. Amazon doesn't allow it. The video has to be directly related to the product. There are some situations where a video could be general enough to be related to a category.
Right.
But just to be safe, we always check to say, are you the owner of these products? And you have to provide proof just so you're not breaking any rules by Amazon.
Now, what about a branding video that maybe talks about an entire product line that you could add to all of those products? Would you see any issue with that? Because in my opinion, it would be exposing the brand, and it's sort of a subtle way of cross-promoting your product line, and people they're already on one of your product pages.
Right.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize you also sell this product line, or this comes in different colors, or this has different size options that I wasn't aware of. Right.
So again, Amazon's big thing is relevancy. So as long as it's relevant to the product in question, it's perfectly okay. So if you have a video about the brand of the product, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Let's talk about the next thing, which is a thumbnail image that you need, a high-resolution thumbnail image. Any do's and don'ts or best practices for the thumbnail?
Again, so you got to get into the psyche of the customer, right? One of the things that they're going to do is when they see that video, there's going to be two decisions on whether or not that they want to purchase or view that video, right? The first decision is the text, right? So what is the title of the video? What is it doing? Is it a how-to? Is it an advertising? Is it helping you do that? The other one is the picture. So obviously when somebody sees that video, they might not be reading the text, but they see that hero image, that's what it's called, and they say, hey, this is cool. This is something that I'm interested in. So be very careful when you select the hero image. It doesn't necessarily have to be a frame within the video. It could be something that, again, is eye-catching, again, PG, making sure it's related to your product. But that's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to capture the attention of your customer.
Yeah, generate intrigue and interest enough for somebody to click on it.
Yep.
So you mentioned the title already. Again, that's got 100 character max. You also have a synopsis, a brief overview of what the customer is going to get. Where does that description actually show up? Because it's not really on the related video short when somebody plays it on the detail page.
Right. Now, you mentioned this before. This is how videos work. And whenever a video goes into the Amazon catalog, it's actually treated as an ASIN. It's a standalone ASIN. So it will get its own quote-unquote detail page, which is actually a video player page. Now, that synopsis will show up directly on that ASIN page and not under the related video shorts.
Okay. And the ones that you guys offer, in terms of if somebody's going to upload a video, we've got a how-to or a review. an advertisement, comparison, unboxing, or interview. Any examples from those that you found were really helpful, or sellers that really utilize those in really incredible ways?
Yeah, so let me look through. So the most prevalent videos that we see are probably how-tos and what we call product advertising, right? So basically this is a general overview of my product, and then a how-to is like, this is how you would actually use my product. Again, you want to be as genuine as possible. You want to, if you're doing a how-to, give a demonstration of the finer points of this product. Why is it better than the next guy or whatever? And then a general advertisement, again, what we talked about before is highlight those benefits for the person. Ultimately, that person is looking to solve a problem or looking to solve a need, and that's what you want to do in that video.
I worked with a guy who had invented a robotic fish tank cleaner called RoboSnail, and cool. I was working on the project. I was as a contractor, and I had the photos and I had the text and all the information stuff. It wasn't until I saw the video that I really got it. It was like, wow, this thing is incredible. And you hook the thing up and it just automatically cleans your tank every single day.
Yeah.
And you look at those as being probably the most important product to add to. If you're selling a pencil, maybe or maybe not, but if you can differentiate your product in some way, it can be really important and really valuable. On Amazon, it's all about differentiation.
Yep.
And I've talked to people, it's about staying ahead of the game. You want to stay ahead of the curve of competition. So if you get brand registry, you want to be doing enhanced brand content. You want to be doing headline ads. If you can do videos, you want to do videos. Anything to stand out above the competition. And the companies that I work with that take that to heart tend to do very well and be on the cutting edge in their categories.
Absolutely. It's all about giving the customer enough information to be comfortable enough to make the purchase decision. So video keeps you ahead. It makes it easier for that customer to digest everything about your product in a short period of time. And I do want to point out too, I don't know if you're going to get this too. One of the biggest questions that we also have is how long, what's the optimal length for a video, okay? There is no optimal length for a video, right? Some of us will sit through a 2-hour movie. Some of us have trouble sitting through a 30-minute sitcom. Some of us can't watch a video for 60 seconds. Right. A rule of thumb with an advertisement, because this is really what you're doing, is a video for a product, even if it's a review or whatever, it is basically an advertisement, right? So the industry, what they do is they look at two stats, is they look at the number of views, and then they start to look at what they call the completion quartiles. All right, so the completion quartiles are basically how much of your video is actually being watched. Good rules of thumb are that pretty much every 30 seconds you're going to lose about a third of your audience. So remember that. It's just people, they might love it, but most people are just going to keep bouncing. So after the first 30 seconds, you're going to lose about a third. Then after a minute, you're going to lose another third of that remaining audience. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, you're not going to have a full completion. What we say to people is probably like a 30 to 60 second video is probably going to be the optimal length to keep your clients or your customers' attention and to give them all the information. Like in that 30 seconds, do as much as you want. Don't waste time on silly things like, a 20-second intro, whatever. Like get to the point and start doing, giving the information that the customer's looking for.
Let's talk about some of the logistics. If I have a video and, one of the videos that I'll show here in a second is ClickBelts. They've got hundreds of variations. So if I have a video, do I have to pay for every single, detail page or ASIN that I want to associate that with? How many do I get? How does that work in terms of logistics?
Yeah, so generally what the first purchase, you get related to up to 50 ASINs, right? And that's what we've seen is most people have 20 or less ASINs that they relate to. We had one guy that he came in and he had one video and he wanted to relate it to his entire catalog, which was like 1,500 different ASINs. And, it's a manual process. It's not one that, hey, we just click a magic button and it just goes and does it. So it is manual. So it comes with the first 50, which is usually good for 99% of everybody. If in a case that you do have several hundred, we do offer, blocks of 50 additional ASINs that you can purchase. Now, there is a hard limit, though. So Amazon does not allow more than, I think it's 200. It's around 200 ASINs for any video related to 200. If you see one that goes beyond that, it's for a specific reason that I don't want to get into. It's something that you actually have to go directly to Amazon and try to make a case for a video being relevant to an entire category as opposed to just a few products.
Got it.
After 200, you literally cannot do it anymore. So Amazon system will not allow it. We've had people ask, well, hey, can you upload the video twice and just relate it to more than 200? That, again, is against Amazon's terms and services to have duplicate stuff. And so the answer is no, we cannot do that.
Yeah. So in that case, if you happen to have, 100 variations or whatever, a couple hundred, more than a couple hundred variations of a product, think of attributing it to the ones that get the most traffic. The business reports will let you know exactly which ASINs are getting the most traffic, which size variations or color variations. And add it to those. Those are going to be your best sellers anyways.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a product that has that many variations, I would probably tell you to make sure that your product is optimized for user choice. There's a point where too much is too much for a customer. And so if you have, Amazon only allows you to do up to 2 variations. And if you have, hundreds and hundreds of choices off of those 2 variations, you're probably overwhelming the customer. And so you might actually be doing more harm than good. We know that a lot of those end up falling into the clothing and shoe categories where maybe it makes sense, but we've also seen that in some instances, if you have 5,000 colors of the same thing, at some point people are going to be so overwhelmed that they're not even going to choose the top colors because they're like, wait, there's too many for me to digest. And so they're going to leave. Yeah,
it's an inverse U, I think. There's a couple of marketing books that I've read on those lines as well. I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share real quick. And what we're going to do is take a look at, this is ClickBelts. And so this is to give you a quick example of what it looks like. And so we can see here's the ASIN at the top. And if we play the video, you can see it just auto plays typically when you land right on the video. You can even do full screen, adjust the volume. I actually haven't even seen the subtitles aspect, but is that something that people can add to the video as well?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's some information they can provide.
Okay. And so this is, again, just a really simple demonstration video. People who are getting the belt were putting it on wrong. And so it was a great way to prevent that and provide that free customer service. The second one is for a company I work with called TableMate. Again, we've got our listing at the top. We've got our lifestyle photos and everything. But then down just below the product description and above some of the related similar items and the questions and reviews, we've got our related video shorts. And adding these videos made a huge impact to the conversion rate and the bottom line of the product. It was really, really neat to see that. Once we added, what a significant difference it made.
Yeah. Now you brought up a point that it's worth highlighting is the fact that like your customers are telling you stuff constantly. So as a seller, you should be aware of the feedback that comes in through either the product reviews or the buyer or the seller feedback. Sometimes they leave information there, or the questions that people answer. What I found is we worked with one client, and the first thing we did is, we did an assessment of their catalog. We found that people had a really hard time understanding the sizes for everything. Mm-hmm. And it's right there. The customers are screaming at you, telling you, hey, I don't get it. I don't get it. So what do you think we did? We put a size chart like right up in the thing. Boom. All those questions run away because it's really prevalent. Same thing here is what you're putting on. If you see that people have a hard time figuring out how to use your product, look at that feedback, make a video of it, make it available to people, and you're going to solve that need for people, increase your conversion rate, and decrease your negative feedback and your returns.
Yeah. So we've got a special offer. If you're watching this, this is also available on the article that I wrote a couple months ago, but Market Seller 12. Again, that's Market Seller 12, all one word. That'll give you 12.5% off any of the EMZ product videos. And that's whether you're doing a single video upload or the video creation package. So it's a huge benefit in terms of what you're going to be able to get off if you use that coupon code. Yeah, one last thought and comment based on your last note is that, in the same way that if you're doing a listing on Amazon, you want to look at your competitors' listings, you want to look at the best sellers and see what other people are doing, learn from that. And in the same way that a lot of times when they're writing their product features and descriptions, we'll look at the best sellers in their competitor listings to see what people complain about in the reviews, see what people like, and emphasize those points, you can do the same exact things for the video. It's like, well, what features should I highlight? You can do a search through even your own product reviews and find out what people love. What did they say about the 5-star reviews that they found really helpful? What did they not quite understand in either the seller feedback or in some of the negative product reviews that you can help them understand better, and put that in the video? I mean, it will probably write a script for you in terms of being able to address those issues and hit on the most relevant points to customers, because it's not about what you want to tell your customers. It's about what's going to be most valuable and helpful for them.
Right. So absolutely highlight the positive and then address the negative is really what you want to do, is highlight all the positive aspects about your product and then address why your product helps solve all the negatives. Hey, this has got the special coating, so it's going to be non-stick.
Yeah. Well, Tim, thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate your time. Again, you can visit Tim and their website at productlabs.net or amzproductvideo.com. All the links will be available in the Facebook comments as well as on the website afterwards. If you have any questions or are looking to optimize your product listings, you can check our Amazon course number 3, which is Optimizing Product Listings, where we talk about video as one aspect, but it is only one aspect. You've got titles and features and images and descriptions that you can optimize as well. And all that helps to increase your sales on Amazon. So Tim, thanks again for joining me.
All right. Thanks for having me.